You are a fucking divine, sensual goddess. The power is right here. They ain't lying when they said pussy power, okay? It's the pussy power. Hello, my beautiful queens, fairies, goddesses, and everything in between. My name is Kayla Jade, and this is the Spirit Goddess. And welcome to another episode, episode 2 of the Girly Hour. Now, my ladies, this is a big one. We are diving deep in that pussy today. So, grab a snack, grab a drink, sit down, have a chat with me. We're going to be getting nitty gritty, we're going to be getting personal, and down to the details of our pussies. So I hope that you stick around and can learn something for this. All right. So ladies, today we are talking about, and I have a lot of notes here. I've got some things going on, okay? So if I be looking down, that is why I be doing my research. I be trying to have a nice flow to this, okay? So it can all come together in a nice little, beautiful packaged little flower for your little flower, okay? Today we're going to be talking the unsacred men and how they are interrupting your sacred flower. So the correlation between sex, vaginal problems, unworthy men, and self-worth and self-esteem. We're going to be diving into all of that, okay? So first of all, I just want to address any men who have entered the chat and feel that they need to have their misogynistic, piggish input on any of this. Kindly back the F away. If you're triggered by any of this, go sort yourself out, go do some deep dive healing work within yourself, and go and wash your dick as well, and then come back to me, okay? Thank you. Glad we got that cleared. All right, today, oh, I don't want to put that up there. Y'all can see that. Oh! Okay, so today, ladies, we are talking all things yoni. So what is a yoni? Yoni is the word that I'm going to use to describe our pussies. If I use other words, I probably will. But for the most part, I like to refer to this beautiful space of ours, our beautiful flower, as the yoni. I'm just going to close the windows because just as I've started recording, these people be doing lawn work or whatever. BRB. Okay, my goodness, my goddess. Okay, so hopefully that made things a little bit quieter. Okay, get myself together, for God's sake, woman. Get it together. So, the yoni, and this is something I've paraphrased off a website, which the link will be in the description. So the yoni is the Sanskrit word that originates from ancient India that is used to describe the vagina in its wholeness of not only physiology, but spiritually, emotionally, and cosmologically. Is that the word? I am not entirely sure. The yoni in all of its depth and vast meaning is seen as an iconic symbol of Shakti. Shakti, which represents power, ability, strength, emerge, I don't know if that's the right word, anyway, effort, force, and capability. Shakti is the supreme, elemental, dynamic, cosmic energy representing all these qualities. Shakti conceptualizes and personifies the inherent sacred feminine creative power, which is also known as Ama Devi in Sanskrit and translates to the mother or the great divine mother. So this inherent power manifests itself through females those with a sacred womb, active creativity, and fertility. So can you see already how incredibly powerful, sacred, and divine just having a yoni is? That those very energies, importance, and creative powers are emanating emanating through your very being and your vessel. Okay, first of all, take a step back, like take that in. You are a fucking divine, sensual goddess. The power is right here. They ain't lying when they said pussy power, okay? It's the pussy power. So with that being said, let's get into it. Your yoni is worthy of notable and healthy penetration of men, period. And I know this might seem inauthentic because I keep looking down, but as I was doing this, I had to write important notes down that came to my head so that I could translate them to the camera, because I didn't want to forget these important things. They felt important to me. But my loves, your yoni is worthy of the most notable penetration. We ain't about to let any guy's dirty ass dick in our yoni. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now, my ladies, raise your hands if you have experienced one or all of these things: thrush, UTIs, and bacterial vaginosis. I'm away. If you've experienced one or more of those things, then I suggest that you continue to listen to this message, because it will be very eye-opening and very important for you, my beautiful, sacred love. Okay, first of all, let's talk thrush real quickly. I'm just trying to find an article on thrush, vaginal thrush, also known as a vaginal yeast infection. La 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 la. Also called vaginal candidiasis. Candida. So vaginal candida, vaginal candiditis. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing these right. I should know because I used to study to be a nurse, but anywho, that feels like a long time ago. So yeah, vaginal yeast infections affect up to 3 out of 4 women at some point in their lifetimes. Many women experience at least 2 episodes, and these can be reoccurring episodes. So once triggered, once you have that initial trigger of a yeast infection, that candida can become systematic and show up through your whole body. Then you can have thrush showing up in your oral cavity, and you can even get, I think, thrush on your skin, maybe. Don't hold me to that. But yes, once it is within our system, these can cause reoccurring flare-ups, because I believe it is something that lays dormant within our system once it is triggered in there, and we need to take the necessary steps to treat the symptom and get to the root cause. I will get into that more later. You do not have to have sexual intercourse to have obtained a yeast infection. However, the chances of getting a yeast infection after sexual intercourse are more increased. There's an increased risk of vaginal yeast infection at the time of first regular sexual activity. So let's just do a little general of what is a yeast infection. This is from the Mayo Clinic 2023. I wanted to try and get something that was as updated as possible. So a vaginal yeast infection is a fungal infection that causes irritation, discharge, and intense itchiness of the vagina and the vulva, the tissues at the vaginal opening. So the symptoms of an infection can range from mild to moderate and include itching, irritation in the vagina and vulva, a burning sensation, especially during intercourse or while urinating, redness and swelling of the vulva, vaginal pain and soreness, vaginal rash, and a thick white odor-free vaginal discharge with a cottage cheese appearance and watery vaginal discharge. So overall, just not a really fun time. Your yoni is not happy, she's not having a good time, she's very upset. So this can be the vaginal candida or yeast infections are caused when there is an over-occurrence of a type of flora within our vagina. So in our yonis, we have lots of natural flora, and it needs a happy balance and a happy pH in order for her to be happy and self-sufficient. So your vagina naturally contains a balanced mix of yeast, including candida and bacteria. And certain bacteria, lactobacillus, act to prevent an overgrowth of yeast. The balance can be interrupted by unworthy paninis and other things. Of course, you know, like our yonis can be quite temperamental, and we don't even need penetration of a lingam penis to disrupt that. But what I'm specifically going to be getting to in this video is going to be talking about that and correlating all of that together. So 3 out of 4 women experience it. It's not abnormal, and I would be shocked and surprised if you haven't experienced it at least once in your life. And if you haven't, well, the time may be coming. I'm sorry, ladies. I am sorry. Now let's look at UTIs. Okay, I'm just looking at a website it's called Byram Healthcare. What is the link between urinary tract infections and sex? When it comes to the delicate balance of your urinary system, certain factors such as sex can increase the risk of developing urinary tract infections, UTIs. The most common victims of UTIs are women. They are about 10 times more likely than men to get a UTI, and close to 60% of women will experience 1 or more UTIs in their lifetime. One reason for this is due to the anatomical differences in urethra length between men and women. Women have a significantly shorter urethra than men, making it easier for bacteria to reach the bladder. The urethra in women is also much closer to the anus than in men, which makes it easier for bacteria to wind up in the wrong place. Okay, so it says here that close to 80% of premenopausal women, so women who have not been through menopause yet, with a UTI had sex within the previous 24 hours. 80% of our UTIs are in correlation to a men's panini. This means that anytime you are sexually active, you're at risk of getting a UTI. Also, aside from anything spiritual and energetic, women, when we do perform the act of sex, it is best for us to go to the piddle parlor and do a wee afterwards to help flush out any bacteria that may have gotten trapped in our urethra, just because of the way the physiology of our anatomy is. As I clearly just read, we do need to take that extra step of precaution. However, there are a lot of extra layers that are in correlation to what I believe why we get these UTIs after having sexual interactions with an unworthy man or an unworthy suited partner to us. And like I said with the thrush, I'm going to get into that with the UTIs as well. I just want to put the facts down, I want to put the percentages out there, and I want more women to be aware of what is happening to us and how common it is. Okay, my pretties? So that's just a quick little overview of UTIs. Now let's have a little overview of, what did I say? Bacterial vaginosis. So bacterial vaginosis is also another extremely common infection that occurs within our yonis and is almost indefinitely caused after a sexual interaction with a punene. And bacterial vaginosis is basically the devil because it, one, takes a very long time to get over, and two, it throws your complete pH balance out of your beautiful yoni, and it creates this odor that is just very unpleasant and you don't want to deal with. So according to the World Health Organization 2023, bacterial vaginosis is the most common cause of vaginal discharge among women of reproductive age. Can I just say that vaginal discharge is a very normal occurrence that we have no matter what? And I think when they talk about when they say things like it's a cause of vaginal discharge, I think what they really mean is it's a cause of that discharge being abnormal and thrown off. Because we always have it no matter what, because the yoni is a self-cleansing mechanism, and that is how the old cells within our lining and our womb get shedded out. Alongside our menstruation, we also have other cells, just like our skin cells get shedded off of us. Our cells inside our yoni shed as well, and mucus sheds as well. Mucus doesn't shed, but anyway, I don't know the full physiological details of the womb, but I do know some things. So that is why we have discharge pretty much every day, and if you don't, that's concerning. BV, so bacterial vaginosis prevalence, varies across countries and population groups, but a recent systematic review and meta-analysis of the global BV prevalence among women of reproductive age ranges from 23 to 29%. That's still a pretty high percentage. Sexually active women are predominantly affected and associated with inconsistent condom use and new and increased number of sexual partners. Oh, that's scary. BV increases the risk of acquiring HIV transmissions and acquisitions of any transmissions of other STIs, and if left untreated can lead to blah 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 blah. Bacterial vaginosis is not a STI, it is an overgrowth of a bacterium within your yoni that has stemmed from the pH levels being thrown out. So our pH levels is very acidic. It needs to be very acidic to keep everything clean and in check. If that is thrown off and she becomes too alkaline, well, that can cause some major problems there. Okay, my love, so we've briefly touched on three very common infections that can occur in our yonis. So thrush, UTIs, and bacterial vaginosis. Now, as you can see, they are very common, and most of them, the percentage of getting them or the increased factor of getting these infections correlates to sexual activity. Yes, so many of these infections occur after sexual activity. And in my personal case, I have had all three of these. I have experienced all three of these, and all of these correlated to sexual activity with, in my opinion, and I will be able to navigate through it all so you can have an understanding of where I'm coming from, in my opinion, is from allowing unworthy men into my sacred yoni space, and therefore disrupting the flow and how my flowers should be naturally. So let's get into this a little deeper. Okay, so I'm going to give some personal details because, as you know, on this channel, my experiences through my life and my healing and understanding and reflection is how I intuitively receive, is how I learn, how I grow, and then how I share these experiences with others and allow them to elevate their own consciousness. Okay, so I'm a very open person, and that is for my own discretion. So, my own personal experiences. Okay, I'm just gonna do a couple and then I will get into some more personal experiences and how that all correlates a little bit further down as we go. So I guess from the get-go, my first ever boyfriend, he was the first person I ever sexually had interactions with, and I experienced UTIs and a full body rash. I had a full body rash for a whole week when we first started getting down with it, if you know what I mean. And I personally am prone to UTIs. I've had UTIs as a child growing up, and I have had scans done, and I have something known as a baggy pelvis. Not actually my pelvis, because that's like a bone, but apparently there's something else called a pelvis. I would say, oh, but that's irrelevant. It's not irrelevant, and this all correlates to everything we're going to get into. However, I believe at the time when we first, me and my ex-partner, when we first got into things, he was not a worthy man for me. And there were many times I ignored my intuition and I just pushed it aside, and I was like, oh, okay, but you know, and I just let things happen. I just let them happen really, without really listening to myself, my values, and my body. And in turn, because of that, in physicality, what has shown up for me is I then got some bad UTIs and a full body rash. My body was screaming at me, sister, no, this ain't it, he ain't it, he ain't it, And I mean, we go through our experiences for a reason, to learn, to grow. I'm not saying all of him wasn't it. There were many parts of him that were it. I'm not a complete, bitch, but anywho. So there was that experience. And then I also will touch on the experience of after that relationship ended, I was completely crushed. I would probably say the worst I have ever felt in my entire life about myself. He completely crushed my soul, my spirit, and my worthiness was dropped to complete rock bottom. And in that, I obviously sought out somebody else to feel good about myself, which is totally just the total opposite of what's going to happen there, sis, like honestly, but we live and we learn. So then the experience that I had was the next sexual partner that I ever had, when my worthiness and my confidence was completely depleted and at an all-time low. I then contracted the worst thrush ever. Now, I had never had thrush before in my life, vaginal candidiasis or candida, yeast infections. I had never had that in my lifetime, and when I did contract it, it was the worst case. The doctors had even said to me, this is a really, really bad infection, like this is a bad strand of yeast infection. We've never seen anything this bad. And it's quite scary. I literally thought I had some kind of UTI. Like, what are you doing, sis? Don't be silly, wrap that willy. But we all make mistakes. As I said, we live and we learn, and I did kind of get lucky in a sense. Not really, but yeah. So there's those things. Now, I'm going to get into something a little bit more spiritual here, a little bit mind-body connection, and we're going to talk about the sacral chakra. Now, bear with me, my beautiful women. You'll see how this all correlates and creates a beautiful picture of understanding between you, your vessel, your emotions and people, the kinds of men that you attract into your reality, and how that all correlates with your healthy functioning and system, especially regarding the yoni, since we're talking about sexual activity here and picking worthy partners. So let's look into the sacral chakra. I know about it, but I've just written some things down here. So first of all, the chakras correlate to the main energy centers within our physical vessel. And for those who think that this is all just woo-woo crap, by the way, this is scientifically backed up. The very basis of science is that everything is energy, right? So are we. Within our system, we have different energetic systems that correlate to different organs and bodily systems. The sacral chakra is our second energy center that resides in our lower abdomen space. So for women, it's where our wombs are. So for women, it's where our yoni will be. It's here. It's a little bit 3 inches below the navel. My navel is here. So yeah, your sacred womb space. So yes, that is your sacred. It's called the sacral chakra, and I always correlate to sacral to sacred, and I always go, yes, your sexual and your energy center there is very sacred. It correlates to the sexual organs, the emotional body, sensuality, and creativity. So creativity is a huge one. It's where we are creatively, is that the right word? I'm trying to be all smart here. Anyway, I'm losing it. When am I not losing it? It's where our creative sparks come from. And if you think about it, our womb space is where babies are created. It's where the act of sexual performance is created, which is a beautiful and should be a very beautiful, sacred, transcending experience, which has the potential to create life, which is so profound, right? And so when we're tapping into our creativity, when we're doing a painting or we're writing a book or anything creative really, that's tapping into that space. And that is also the space where we hold our emotions. So all of our emotions are held in that space. That's why they say our emotions are held in our hips, and we should do stretches and stuff to move the energy and the emotions out of our hips. As I said, this is where life force energy flows in and out. It is where our emotions are stored. And emotions are energy in motion. However, if there is stagnation in some type of emotion and we are continuing to feel some type of way in a lower sense, so we're feeling numb or depleted or not creative, or we have some type of subconscious belief, so whether there's or some kind of subconscious emotion, so whether that's buried deep inside us and we aren't aware of it consciously, that is typically buried, it's all within our central nervous system, and the chakras align with the nervous system. However, for the most part, those emotions would be trapped and stuck within our sacral chakra, because our sacral chakra is meant to be flowing and flexible, and the energy in motion, emotions and energy, emotions are energy in motion, so that's supposed to be flowing in and out of our sacral chakra. It's also a beacon of attraction. So think of it like these energy centers are like a vortex kind of thing, and they're going in and out, and what emotion you have in your sacral chakra, and that energy that's there is going in and out, and you're attracting like what is like, if that makes sense. So if you have free flowings, feelings of joy and love, that's going to be going in and out. And then you are attracting experiences of love and joy flowing in and out. Being the beacon of attraction that the sacral chakra is, it will attract those emotions into your physical reality. Hence attracting these men who are not worthy and highlighting these wounds deep within, which manifest into physicality. So as I was saying, if you have deep wounds within your vessel that you may not even be aware of, that may be subconscious, and that beacon of attraction is going, and deep down those are your energy, that's your emotions, your energy in motion, then, and there's a deep core of feeling of or belief of unworthiness, then guess what? You're going to be like, look at that unworthy man. Bring him into my yoni. Oh my God. And so like attracts like. So you two are potentially attracted to each other. So he may be a type of guy, and I'm just going through my own example. So when I was at my lowest feeling unworthy, right? That was the energy I was emitting. I was feeling incredibly unworthy. So I was not feeling good, and that's what I was attracting. And I attracted an unworthy man, and he was the type of guy who slept around clearly a lot, and he obviously had been with multiple women and didn't use protection, and he had that type of yeast infection on his panini, okay? And yes, we understand the physicalness of this. We understand that, okay, well, physically, I slept with a guy who had, thrush on his penis, and then I got that in my yoni. Cool. But if we look at the emotion basis of things, and my core wound and my core feeling of not feeling worthy, then my beacon of attraction was attracting that guy into my reality. Like attracts like. Maybe on some level he wasn't feeling worthy. That's his own problem. I'm not going to delve into that. But so then I attract him into my reality, and my unworthiness wound is then formed into physicality. So my emotional wound forms into physicality because I have attracted that. And then from that experience that I attracted, I have then received thrush. I have then received a bad dose of thrush, okay? And I do also feel like if I was feeling more worthy and healthier within my system, I also believe that your system correlates to how your emotions and how you're feeling, like your general well-being. If your general well-being is not feeling all that crash hot, well, sorry, but your immune system is going to be down. And so that all comes from general well-being, emotions. Your emotion is attracting that physical reality. They always say what happens to you on the outside is a physical manifestation of how you're feeling on the inside. And to me, that makes complete 100%. This is the mind-body connection. And my love, you can look into that, dive a little bit deeper and get some more understanding on it. And I also wanted to say that sacral chakra correlates with the physiological and behavioral functions of emotions, feelings, relationships and relating, expression of sexuality, sensual pleasure, creativity, fantasies and feeling, both our inner and outer worlds. So what about reoccurring infections? Did they stem from these men, or did they trigger wounds already in us? So as I was saying, like attracts like, and we were attracted, in my opinion, us ladies have been attracted to these men and drawn into, and they were drawn into our realities. And this emotional core belief has now transmuted into physicality. So this emotional belief has transmuted into physicality, and that is being shown through these infections that we now receive. So it's being evidently shown in our physical vessels. These deep wounds are now being shown to the surface. And now your body is saying to you, look what is happening. Look at this, please. These physical things that are showing up are a symptom. They are a symptom of the root cause. They are not the root cause. They are a symptom of it. So now we need to look at ourselves. We need to look at what's going on deep within us emotionally, and in our core beliefs that may just be on autopilot, that may have just been input into us as a child, that we didn't even know were there, that may have been handed down to us from our mother and our mother's mother, because they do say that our grandmother held the egg like us as a child. So if you look at the physiology of when the egg is formulated, I don't exactly know completely, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 generations above. So your grandmother held the egg not only of your mother, and then in your mother, she already held the egg of you. So if you want to link DNA to all of these emotions, you could be embodying things that aren't even yours, but unfortunately and fortunately, you have the capacity to look into these and to heal these and to end these cycles now, and to know your inherent worth, and to say no to anything that is not worthy of your beautiful, divine, sacred yoni and vessel. On that note, I actually do have another example which I asked my mother if it was okay to share with me, with y'all. Oh my god, my back. So my mother, so her first sexual encounter with a completely unworthy, disgusting, a poor excuse for a man, honestly, probably has the devil incarnated in him. She too experienced severe thrush. And I'm not saying, there could have been a core wound in her that stemmed from her mum as well. So my grandma, there's all kinds of things that are at play here. However, that man was not worthy at all. And her body was screaming at her, just like your body is screaming at you. That man's not worthy. For 2 years that she was unfortunately with that sick excuse for a guy, she had reoccurring thrush for the whole 2 years. And as soon as that partnership, if you can even call it that, ended, her thrush went away and she didn't get it again. He was a downright unworthy sicko. Like, he should not have been near her sacred vessel, and her sacred vessel was letting her know. It was letting her know, and it lets all of us know, and we need to wake up to that. And better yet, we need to wake up to it before we even let these unworthy men into our vessels. We need to heal these parts of ourselves that we may not even be aware of, that's attracting these unworthy men into our realities. Sometimes you got to go through it and you got to learn. Unfortunately, I've been there a few times, and I can say I think I've pretty well come out the other end, hence why I'm making this video, and I'm very excited about it, to share my knowledge and my experience with other beautiful, worthy women. And I also want to give another example. I'll give a couple, I'll just give all of them because I'm an honest person. Who the hell cares, right? Yeah, so there was another guy that I was seeing, and the first time we experienced getting down together, I knew, and I didn't, I know these things intuitively. I know, I think to myself, oh, actually, not sure about this guy, don't really feel worthy. But then, oh no, it doesn't feel like he's worthy of me. But then obviously I have these core wounds, which I've been actively working on, and I'm proud to say I probably have healed in so many incredible ways, which actually makes me really emotional because I realize how far I've come. There's a part of me who doesn't believe that I'm worthy, okay? And yeah, so I continue with this guy, and I got the worst case of UTI I've ever had. Just like the thrush, we love that, we love it. Yeah, so when I went to the doctors, they literally said this is a really bad strand of a bacteria infection in your urethra, like in your UTI. This is a really bad strand, and it was bad because I felt it, and it was hurting and I was peeing blood for a week straight. Like, it was not fun, sis. It was not a good time. My body was like, are you gonna listen to me? Are you gonna heal your unworthy wounds? Sis, get the memo. And then, of course, there was the most recent, which was a few months ago now. So I've come quite a long way from all these experiences, I will say. So yeah, that one, I had never experienced this before, but then I got bacterial vaginosis. Woo! And that was like the devil, because that pH balance and that odor was thrown off for months. I've only just now cleared it, and I'm only just feeling like in the last 2 weeks, I've only just been feeling so incredible. I've been doing all my healing. I've been getting myself together. I've been having a detox from the paninis because none of them are worthy at this point. And yeah, we're healing and we're moving on. So how can we begin to heal our sacred yonis and these core wounds that we may not even know are there? So I have this book, which is by Louise Hay. I'm not sure if it's showing up backwards on the screen. And it's called You Can Heal Your Life. And I just wanted to flick through and find something. She has a whole thing. So if we go to thrush, 210, thrush, where are you? Okay, the problem and the cause, the probable cause of thrush. So remember, these are symptoms of a root cause. The root cause being your core wound, your core belief. So the probable cause, anger over making the wrong decision. So maybe you're not sure about making decisions. You're indecisive. You don't believe in yourself. You don't believe you're worthy. To me, a lot of this and most of this comes down to worthiness. So new thought pattern. I lovingly accept my decisions, knowing I am free to change. I am safe. Guys, honestly, I encourage you to research the root cause of your condition. So if you are experiencing thrush, if you're experiencing BV, if you're experiencing UTIs or anything, I encourage you wholeheartedly to dive deep into the root cause of what that is and what this belief could be. And this will set you on your journey to healing it. This will set you on a beautiful path that will continue to elevate you and take you in a direction of healing and understanding things on a deeper level. We have something called vaginitis on here, so let's have a look. 12, 10. Oh, where am I? What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, 2, 1, 2. Vaginitis. See female problems. Anger at a mate, sexual guilt, punishing the self. New thought pattern. Others mirror the love and self-approval I have for myself. See, it's a mirror. It's a mirror of your own worthiness. I rejoice in my sexuality. Forms and channels may change, but love is never lost. I ask clients with sexual problems to begin to relate to their rectum, penis, or vagina with a sense of love and appreciation for their function and their beauty. If you are beginning to cringe or get irate as you read this, ask yourself why. Who told you to deny any part of your body? Certainly not God. Our sexual organs were created as the most pleasurable parts of our body to give us pleasure. To deny this is to create pain and punishment. Sex is not only okay, it is glorious and wonderful. It is normal for us to have sex, and as it is for us to breathe or eat. So much juicy goodness in here. I really recommend this book, but that honestly really does touch on the way our core beliefs, where they stem from, and how we feel and relate about ourselves, and then how that attracts these things into our physical reality. I have a few other ways in which you can begin your journey of self-worth healing and healing your sacred yoni. So as I said, first of all, yes, treat the symptom. I still believe that Western medicine has its place, of course. So first, treat your symptom. Go to the doctor, see what you have, what can they offer you. There's creams, there's antibiotics. Make sure you're taking probiotics if you're getting antibiotics though, because that is so essential. We have so much beautiful flora in our yonis that is very important for the functioning. Antibiotics they kill every bacteria, and bacteria levels of that is important in our yoni. So we want to rebalance those. So yes, but you do need to go deeper, but you can first start with the physical, treating the physical symptoms, but then after that you need to dive deep into the deep layers subconsciously, otherwise these things are going to keep reoccurring. I think I experienced thrush for 6 months straight. It was a reoccurring thing, and when I started to delve deep into it, I realized I had it systematically. I went to the dentist one time and she was like, oh, you have oral thrush, and I was like, what? I was like, where did this come from? And I still was experiencing vaginal candida. So to me, I was like, this is a systematic thing. My whole vessel is not feeling worthy. How can I get to the root cause of this? So you can have vaginal supplements and nutrition to support a healthy womb and vaginal flora, as I said. Most importantly, start listening to your body. Really start listening to her and your intuition. If you pick up anything that's wrong and your body's like, no, if it's a no, it's a no. If it's an unsure, it's a no. Please start listening to those cues. Please start listening to her when she speaks to you. Otherwise, she's going to scream at you. First, she'll whisper, then she'll scream. Wait, first she'll whisper, then she'll talk loud, then she'll scream. And girl, my body been screaming. Now she's happy. She's okay. She's good. Okay, and that's what I want for all beautiful women. That's what I want us all to understand and all to heal. Okay, listening to your body. I also suggest, and this is something from my personal experience, I really do suggest it though, I suggest having a detox, so going celibate for a little while, whether you set that to be 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, or a year, or you start with a 2-month period, and then as you embark on your healing journey, you go, actually, I don't even want any guy to touch me for a good hot minute, because that's what happened to me. But yeah, I highly suggest having a break and a detox from sexual encounters until you can feel more in tune with yourself and your yoni and what she needs to heal. She will start to speak to you. I know that sounds whack, but she will. It's a YoniVerse. It's a whole universe. There is a whole poppin' universe down there, and she has emotions and feelings and things she wants to say and things she wants to heal and get out. And I'm not saying this healing is going to be easy. You're going to go through its emotions. It's heavy, deep, buried emotions that are deep inside that space. And when you do create a safe enough space within your vessel and they feel safe enough to come up, when they come up, they come up. I'm telling you right now that they come up. And some of it is shocking and some of it might not even make sense, because a lot of it might not even be your own. Like I said, it's generational. You can also do womb meditations to reconnect and listen to her. Womb meditations are so beautiful and profound. I always cry when I do them. There is a beautiful womb meditation that I actually recently stumbled upon. If I can find it, I will link that down in the description. You can also do an activity known as yoni gazing. So if you're not sure what that is, you can look into it, but it's basically you get a mirror, or you get in front of a mirror and you just stare at your yoni, and you try not to have judgment. If judgment comes up, that's okay, but let it go. It's normal for the judgment to come up, but don't associate yourself with it. Just go, I'm aware this feeling is coming up, I let it go now, and try and lovingly look at your yoni and just look at her. She wants to be seen, she wants to be known, she wants to be connected to. And then the next step you can also take, there's something called yoni massage. So it's not like self-pleasure, although it can turn into that. But it's basically you just start massaging. So there is a specific technique. I think I've never really done the specific technique, but yeah, basically I just start from the outside of my vulva, and then I just go in and I just intuitively feel, and it's just like massaging any other part of your body, and you're putting love into it. And I highly suggest using coconut oil, because coconut oil is antibacterial, and it's safe to use down there, and it's, I think, good for it. So I'd highly suggest using some coconut oil. You can start with the outside, just like circular motions, and then you're just starting to feel and just feeling, okay, that's what it feels like. Okay, that's my cervix. Okay, that's my wool. Oh, I can feel the inside, and just getting really attuned and knowing yourself and connecting with a part of you that is so essential. So yes, as I've touched base on, most importantly, uprooting those deep subconscious beliefs and changing it with love and tenderness. So a lot of this work, you'll find that it will uproot these subconscious beliefs, and then it's up to you to actively, with love, try and redirect those thoughts that could have been there for so long, and redirect them with love, and try and pour more love into yourself. Also, another really great tip for doing this is shadow work. If you haven't heard of shadow work, you can look up specific shadow works, but a lot of it's to do with inner child healing, because a lot of these wounds stem from when we were a child, when things were imprinted onto us. As a child, you're a complete sponge. You believe everything the adults tell you because they are so wise and they know everything, even though them themselves were just big fat wounded children in adult suits, honestly. So yeah, my loves, that is everything I have to share with you today. This has been a heavy deep dive in the pussy topic, and I love talking about this stuff. I love sharing this stuff. It fills me with so much joy, and it's so exciting because this is the stuff I actively research and look into and work on, and I share with my closest girly friends. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this inspired you on some level, and I hope we can all heal, hold hands and our wombs together, and heal our wounds, and just feel so sacred as we are. So powerful. Get that pussy power popping, because we popping, and we choosing who's worthy. We ain't letting them choose. No. We the goddesses. Okay. Okay, my beautiful loves, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or night. Bye. Oh, it's recording. You always be doing that to me, a little tricky trick.